What's going on, everybody? Stubbs here from Retro Handhelds with my buddy Aish, and we're going to be looking at the RG35XX H today. This is a brand new one from Anbernic. It is a horizontal version of their Plus model, and this has been a quick turnaround. We just had a news first thoughts video about this, what, less than a week ago, Aish? We're already doing this? What in the world? Okay, well, we just got this.
Anbernic does not take any time off for the holidays.
They don't take any time off. They're like, nope, handheld. Here we go. So this showed up on my doorstep today. I'm like, well, we're doing a live stream. Aish, how are you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. It's been a pretty good day. We're in that weird time of the year between like Christmas and New Year's where it just feels like a really long weekend.
It does, yeah.
Good, like, enjoying it.
Yeah, it's the work week for me, actually. I didn't take this week off or anything, but it still feels like sort of that, long weekend holiday break feeling, which we're going to cap that off with a live stream on December 31st. We're going to give away a bunch of handhelds. Anbernic has donated 10 35XX Plus units for us to give away, by the way, on top of all the donations that came our way. So do stay tuned for that. There are two requirements for that live stream, by the way. If you do want to win a handheld, you need to subscribe to our channel, which thank you in advance, and to Anbernic's channel for one of the 35XX Plus units. And also watch the live stream unless you're a patron or an owl or a YouTube member. Then you don't have to watch it, but it's always appreciated, and you'll be automatically entered into that. Okay, so how's video and audio for everybody? Look good, sound good? J-Lash. Hello, sir. The 35XX Aish, that is indeed a thing. Well, without further delay, let's dig into this. So this is the horizontal, and it really looks like an RG353M in a lot of respects, but plastic. That's the main thing we've been seeing. Comes with all your standard fixins. We have a screen protector, which Joey of Joey's Retro Handheld says that I don't know how to apply a screen protector. He thought this was a screen protector today, and I said, no, sir. That is the film that comes from the factory. You see this? You see this film? That is not a... He's like, you can't put on screen protectors. You suck. I'm like, no, look at this. Huh? So just to prove Joey wrong, we're gonna show you some screen protector skills. Here's a free lesson. I really hope I don't mess this up and make myself look stupid. On the spot. First you wipe it, first you wet it, then you get the dry.
I'll be right back in. I'm having some connection issues. Give me 1 second.
Fair. Go kick your kids off the internet. Now, unfortunately, this isn't quite the full size of the handheld, so you do have some space, just like with the 35XX Plus, where it doesn't fully fit the screen. I don't love that. Let me make some macro adjustments. And then just kind of let it do that. Oh my god, there's two Aishes.
Whoa, how did that happen?
I don't know. There's an extra Aish.
Yeah. I'm the real one. Okay.
Okay, good. There was an imposter Aish in real. Okay, there we go. I really am annoyed that they don't make screen protectors that fully fit the screen. They kind of repurpose these ones that must be meant for other handhelds of this screen size. Even then, it's too small. Hey, Zan.
Maybe it's because of the curved edges.
Maybe it is. So I might not leave that on in the end. But Joey, come on. Come on, Joey.
Easy with that.
Give me some
finger, you're
validation
pressing
here.
it too hard.
I know, I'm not going to break this one. So yeah, I love this purple colorway. This is really nice right at the gate. So you have, of course, the same buttons, it looks like, as the Plus. The D-pad looks like it might be a little different, but I don't think it is. I think that it's just taller because of the fact that it's in a different shell.
It looks a little bit taller.
It does. I don't know if the actual button is taller or that it just sticks out more because of the shell. But yeah, I do like that it's taller. Nice pivot. It feels kind of like the Miu Mini a little bit, the Miu Mini Plus.
Ooh.
A little bit looser. A little bit looser, I think. Well, maybe it's slightly looser.
We'll have to check those diagonals because the new one, that was one of the big improvements. They got rid of those accidental inputs. So hopefully with this one, if it's a little looser, they're not back.
Face buttons are the same. Yeah, then here on the top, you're going back to that older style shoulders that we saw on the 351P, 280M, 353M.
That looks exactly the same. It's just in a metal shell.
Right. All right. Let's see here. Let's do some quick comparisons. The easiest one for me to make currently is the 351P. Let me turn off my overhead light there. Aish, do you have any thoughts on this?
I'm really, personally, just for me, I'm excited for it because I never got a hold of the 353M, which this looks like it's just a plastic version of that, which I'm really happy for. And the only like smaller form factor Anbernic handheld I have is the 351P. And I kind of like this screen a little bit better. So I'm pretty stoked for it. I don't know how I feel about those sticks, but we'll see. It looks very pocket friendly.
Yeah.
I'm glad they went back to that purple that everybody wanted. Maybe that's why we didn't get it with this new 353X, because they were saving it for this model. So if somebody wants like a different color variation, they kind of have to pick, almost like what they did with the Arc, where if you want a specific color, you're gonna have to go for like a specific configuration.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah, Chat's right. It's like an upgraded 280M. So I like that they went back to this form factor. It's kind of hard for me to go back to the 3.5-inch screen, going from like the 4-inch screens that I was getting used to with like the 405M. But this looks small enough to where it's not going to be that big of a deal. What I'm curious about is I've seen like their promo material. They've got like God of War running a lot better than I was able to get it to run on the 353X. So I don't know if they maybe optimize something or something's different here. Hopefully they're putting in some work on the back end for it. But yeah, this is cool. It's a little pocket friendly handheld. I'm sure there's going to be a market for it.
Absolutely. I'm just getting my lighting
great for
figured
Game Boy
out.
Advance. I know somebody in chat here isn't happy about like the purple everybody wanted, but no, this is very similar to the purple we got with the first 353X.
It looks just like the OG 35XX.
Yeah, which is something a lot of people wanted. I personally, I'm not the biggest fan of like the purple Miu Mini. I think it's a little too much. I like that more subtle, almost like faded like N64, like fantastic color type purple. But everybody's got their own preferences, and the cool thing is, if you want that purple, there's a handheld for you.
Okay, I think we got situated here. How's that lighting? Is that a little bit better? You can see the purple okay?
Yep. Looks to me it looks solid.
All right. So, yeah, the P, I mean, this is one of my favorite Anbernic handhelds of all time. You have the recessed sticks, so pocketable, great for GBA. You got the rubber nips on the back, always love that. The shoulders nobody loves because they want stacked shoulders usually, but the pocketability, you really can't deny that this really is the way to go. 280M, there you go. You got one stick, even more pocketable. Running an older chipset with the 4.3 screen here, but it's metal, so it's just heavy, you know? It's just heavy. This, not only did they bring back the nips, which, oh man, they feel better than ever. You can see the battery. You can see that we got a 3500. What? Look at my glasses here. Oh gosh. I think it says 3300. The same thing as the Plus in here. This is running the H700 chipset, the same CPU specs as the Plus. If you want to know more about the specs about this, watch any of our content on the 35XX Plus. We're not going to really spend much time on that today, but we will take a quick look. This does have HDMI out and has two USB ports on the top, one for DC, one for OTG. You have a 3.5 headphone out, a function button. On the right, you have power reset. On the bottom, we have two micro SD card slots. So one's going to be for your OS, one's going to be for your ROMs, and two down-firing speakers, which I am totally okay with that. It's just so light. And I didn't bring my scale down here, but I actually filmed a video before we went live. So if you wanted to kind of get an idea of what the weight is.
The way the RG35XX H. 0 pounds, 6.4 ounces. What are you kids saying over there?
Meow.
Meow. Hey.
Meow.
Hey, be nice to your sister. Elliot. Oh.
Meow.
Elliot. No, hey, that's... Oh, my goodness.
Well, so, yeah, we have all the kids home right now for break. So, you know how that goes. I'm not sure what to do either.
There's not much you can do. Just weather the storm.
Just weather the storm. We're all doing the best we can here. We love the kids. So it's okay. So 6.4 ounces. So it is incredibly lightweight. I need to compare it against the 351P, but already I can tell that this is lighter than the P even. So I like that.
How clicky are the shoulder buttons?
Yeah, let's get that up to the mic. Can you hear that?
Yeah. Okay, so it's more of like that 353X click, not as much as like the mouse click.
Right. Yeah, it is much more like the X. Sounds good.
That's one of the things I don't like about the 351P. I always hated those like mouse click, super loud buttons.
The face buttons, I mean, nice mushy, loose D-pad. Volume up and down is on the left. And then here's what's new. They added sticks. So they took this, all right, and they said, we're going to add 2 joysticks. They're recessed into the shell, so that's going to be pocketable. And I, for one, am a fan of having sticks as an option, much like you saw on the 353V and VS. It's just nice to have. So I don't know how much of a difference this is really going to make for you on the lower end systems, but for systems like PlayStation 1, for N64, PSP, and Dreamcast, and Nintendo DS, all of those are going to highly benefit from having these sticks. Let's turn it on.
They also added the extra USB-C port that the 35XX doesn't have.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, there's an X. Oh, you're right, because they do have an extra port. You're right.
Yep. So if you want to plug it into the TV and a controller, you have it's a little bit easier now.
And you have the HDMI out, so you can do lots of I/O up here, which is good. So this comes with the clunky sort of UI. It's the stock UI that we saw on the Plus. What's interesting is that I popped the firmware SD card out of my Plus into here earlier, and it just works. Just right off the bat, it just works. That leads me to believe that you could put a MuOS in here, Garlic OS, and it'll should just work. But they're not taking into account yet the sticks. And so that is where you're going to want specific firmware with specific configurations. But it did at least function. I didn't have time to get into game testing or anything. All I saw was that it booted and I got into the menu and was able to navigate around. First thing I want to do is get rid of these crazy loud key sounds that goes, I don't know if you can hear this, but bloop, bloop, bloop. Straight into settings.
I'm so glad they didn't do the Skittle buttons for this color. I don't like how it looks with the purple shell.
Button sound off. Yeah, you know, I like just the clean black buttons are good. These are glossy. I wish they were matte. I always wish they're matte buttons. I don't like glossy buttons. But, you know, they're fine. And start and select are also mushy rubber membrane buttons. The joysticks don't feel like Hull joysticks or anything. They're probably the same ones from the 353 VS.
Yeah, I don't think they would put Hall sticks on this handheld.
I can't confirm that they're not.
The caps are usually different.
Aish, do you mind pulling up the specs for me on this just to go through for the fine people at home? And we'll take a look, but I don't think that it has it. They released the full specs in their latest promo. This is running a copy of the stock OS from December 19th. So that's just a few days before the latest 35XX Plus update. And I always prefer that we can...
Okay, let's see if they have Hall sticks in here, which, like I said, I don't think they do.
I doubt it.
No, they're not listed.
Few other comparisons.
Yeah, usually the caps on the Hall sticks are a little bit different than the ones with their regular sticks. Their regular sticks look just like Switch sticks. The Hall sticks have a little bit more like a grippy edge to them.
Yeah.
And yeah, for the most part, everything's the same as the 35XX Plus. It's just it looks like the addition of the USB-C port is the only difference. Same CPU, 1 GB of RAM, running Linux, same language options, 3300 milliamp battery, same thing. Dual SD card slots, supports 2.4 gigahertz wireless controller, Bluetooth, HDMI output, vibration, Wi-Fi, 3.5-inch screen, same GPU, comes with the same size SD card, and single speaker. And it also has the C2C charging, so it makes charging a little bit easier.
I don't have Stubbs Nubbs with me right now. I'm just got a new shipment, but I haven't unboxed it yet. These are Switch-sized nubs, though, so let's see if it... Thank you for reading the specs, by the way.
You're welcome.
These are Switch-sized. Hey! Yeah, so, okay. So yeah, Stubbs Nubbs will fit by default on the XX So this is, of course, this is the most important news for most people. And now you know. Nubs are a go.
All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. We have
this has been a live stream.
Information.
Thanks for everybody for.
I think that's going to be it.
This is
That's what everybody wanted to know.
The creators. I have a whole box full of Stubbs Nubbs, Joey. They're upstairs. I need to unbox it. I'm doing a dedicated video on my own nubs. That's what it's been necessary now. Okay, and then for other comparisons, here's the Retroid Pocket 2 Plus.
About the comparison we all want is the 2S.
Is the 2? Well, that's the same almost the same dimensions. I can pull out a 2S. Give me a minute. Trim UI Smart. Of course, the Data Frog.
Oh God.
Data Frog a little bit wider, and the Boaham. This is actually we found out the official name for this is the SG Jam M17.
I like Boaham.
The Boaham. A little smaller than that. And as far as accessories go, so you can get this case, and I like that they make it in purple, just like they did for the 353M. I wish we had a 353M with us today. Neither Aish or I have one to compare it with, because really that's what people are saying. This looks like a 353M. I can tell you that it's much lighter weight than one, but it does, the ergonomics feel exactly like a 353M otherwise. So I think that's a fair assessment. Obviously having a little less power than that chipset, but the price point for this is what we're all waiting on. We still don't know what it's going to be. We have to assume that it's going to be within $10 or so of the Plus. So that should be about $63. We're hoping we're going to see it around $63 to $65 for this when it launches. Pre-orders should be available today or tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. But you do get this nifty case. These are usually less, about $10 or less, and it fits it nice and snug. I just like that they have a purple one to match the purple on this.
I really hope they get the price right on this. If it's about the same as the 353X, I think this could be a winner. If it's closer to the like $80 range, it's going to be a hard sell.
It came with a 64 gig SD card in slot 1. I added my extra SD card from my Plus that I've already preloaded with my own games. So N64 and all that. So this will have my own ROMs on it. So if there was box art that comes stock, I don't think we'll have that here. I'm sorry, we'll have it on SD card 1. There'll be the stock ROMs on there. If you are going to add your own games, make sure to get yourself your own SD card if you can. It'll be better and higher quality. You can get up to a terabyte for under $50 these days. I'll put this in the description. These cards are great.
I need to pick up some of those.
Get some of those going. This does have Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, of course, just like the Plus. So getting yourself like a nice Bluetooth controller will really be key. Or one that plugs in, that'll work too. This one was sent to us from NYXI, NYXI.
Yep.
They make something called a Hyperion. I'll be making a video about this shortly, but I'll feature it tonight, and we'll try it out. We'll unbox it.
They make really good Switch controllers.
Yeah, I've used one of their Switch controllers before. It looks pretty interesting.
Superhero Solution just subscribed. I think everybody watching this who hasn't should do the same. We appreciate it.
Oh yeah, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're celebrating 50,000 subscribers this month. That is a crazy milestone for us, and thank you all for your patronage, your subscription, and your kindness for watching our content.
I didn't think there was 50 people out there that wanted to listen to us, let alone 50,000.
That's
crazy.
Well,
yeah.
we're saying
half the time I don't listen to us.
First dive, I can't barely stand us. Well, there's Mario. So I have to, every time I move the camera, I have to readjust my spam, and this is at a slant, so you can see.
What are you
monitor?
playing?
What? This is Apocalypse with Bruce Willis, dude.
Oh, okay.
What am I playing? This might be one of my top 10 PlayStation games. Top 10 PSX list from me coming soon. TM. Let's focus on the topic at hand. It's background music. Nuts. Okay, sorry if there's extra static on my mic, everybody. I'm gonna try to get the audio from the game a little bit. So for your hotkeys, function is what you're going to use here, plus whatever button.
Oh, good old load times.
Here we go, Chief.
You know what? And before we get any further, let me just stop. Let me just stop for a second. I have something to get off my heart to get to. You see my freaking thumb? Yes, every video lately, I get like 5 comments that's like, what the hell, not to be rude, what the hell is wrong with your thumb? This is a genetic condition that makes my right thumb appear like it is short and stubby like a toe. I was birthed, and my mother said, I dubbed thee Stubbs right there in the birth certificate because of that damn thumb. One day you're going to be great at Mario Brothers and playing the bass guitar. And just that, this was my path in life. So now that we have that out of the way, You don't need to leave that YouTube comment asking about my thumbs. Thank you for your time. Now, this is a game called Apocalypse, starring Bruce Willis.
It looks pretty fun.
This is one of my favorite games ever. It's a little bit dark in this first level, but it's a good way to test. You can test the
3D
dual
Contra.
sticks. Yeah, right. You can test the dual sticks with it, and you can test vibration. So I always use this game to test for analog sticks and vibration. Vibration feels great on this, by the way.
I love how Bruce Willis actually did like voice work for this game.
There's Bruce Willis one-liners, right? Which is...
So this is a Christmas game, right?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
This is made on the Tony Hawk engine. So this was the engine that the team used at Neversoft to build Tony Hawk. They tested it out with this game first. And man, the sticks feel really good.
Frankly Retro, thanks for becoming a member.
Thank you, Frank. Lee Retro. Yeah. So the speakers sound good. So it's nice because guess what? We have 2 speakers now. We don't have mono speaker anymore.
Oh, it's 2? They had only 1 listed on their spec sheet.
I see physically 2 speakers in there. I mean,
nice.
Don't you? Let's see. One.
Yeah, it looks
I
like
see
it.
one under there, one under here. So I think it's stereo speakers. Yeah, man, I love this game. I could just keep playing it. I know we have a live stream to get to. Wait a minute, we're doing the live stream right now. Okay, to get out of the game, you hold function and press start. Brings you back to the stock menu. There's one air bubble right there that I'm keep trying to fix.
You're gonna break the screen.
I know, with my thumb is too powerful. It's too powerful. You know, it's a problem. It's a problem, obviously. Should we try some N64?
Yeah, let's see how that goes.
Do a little Mario Kart.
That one should play with no problem. Like I think I was playing Mario Kart, Super Mario 64, Ocarina of Time on the 35XX with no issues. Conquer's Bad Fur Day was a bad time, so no. I need to try Banjo. That's a game I've been meaning to play.
This is going to chug at first. You're going to notice that with both this and the Plus, where it starts up at first, you're going to see like 14 FPS. And then once you get into the game, it's going to hit the normal.
So I don't like that the function button's at the top again.
Yeah, the function button being on the top is not my favorite. It's just kind of awkward. Now, you can remap if you want. You can remap the function button to be, you know, in RetroArch anyways, you can remap it to maybe select. You can push in on the left stick.
Yeah. So anybody in chat that's saying the price, we don't know the price yet. They haven't announced it. So I know people are throwing around like $89, $90. None of that is the actual price. We don't know how much this is going to be. I would say probably around 70. Hopefully they stick around there.
Yeah.
And for a few N64 games, you can actually go in and mess with the settings, like maybe switching the back end, like the plugins to Rice or something that's going to be a little bit easier to run. The problem with a lot of those games is you have to run them at a lower resolution, so they're not going to look that great. But yeah, N64 is definitely a bonus system on here. It's not going to be something that you should get this to mainly play that system.
This is running 29 FPS. It should be 30, so it's right on the cusp of full speed. And it's using an auto plugin right now, so I can specify Rice, but you're going to get some graphical stuff happening.
Yep.
So just remember N64, like Aish said, you're going to have to tweak it per game. And let's turn the brightness a bit down.
So someone's asking how this compares to OLED. It's obviously not going to be as good as an OLED.
It's an IPS screen.
Yeah. But I think they did a pretty good job with the colors on these screens. It should be the same exact screen as the 35XX. And when I looked at both the original 35XX screen and this new one, the colors look much better on this new one.
So there is RetroArch specifically, which will have N64, and there's also standalone. So if you go to the game room area, that's going to be a standalone emulators. And
I don't think they have N64 though, standalone.
But they don't have N64 on standalone. So what you are going to see there though is PSP, Dreamcast. Those are ones you're going to probably want to do standalone. And let's take a look just at Ben 10.
PSP, you definitely want to do standalone.
Yes. Well, they don't even have by default a core for RetroArch. If you go into PSP on the RetroArch part of the system here, it's going to just launch into PPSSPP anyways, which is kind of funny. Now, you can manually use RetroArch, connect to Wi-Fi, and then download the PPSSPP core. Make sure you get your BIOS files in there, and you can still use it. It's going to be a little convoluted. So I recommend just sticking with the standalone. Having said that, the standalone right now is having an issue where you can't input retro achievement login data. And so Chivos are not going to work unless you do that workaround and use PPSSPP on RetroArch.
You can also get a Melon DS, but the performance is terrible.
Yeah. Correctamundo.
PPSSPP though I'm amazed at how optimized it's getting, like how good games actually run on this. Games that really shouldn't work on this chip.
So I see they stretch it by default.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that, but most people probably aren't. So you can fix that though. Just if you go and press function, you're going to get the PPSSPP menu. You can go to display layout and effects and then say stretch and say no stretch.
We're a society. We have rules.
We do have rules. This isn't nom.
You could also stretch halfway, which I mean, I guess
you're talking about a half stretch, dude. I'm saying if you're gonna stretch, you might as well stretch all the way. Like, don't do halfway stretches. Where do you draw the line? You draw the line at either sticking to the native resolution, okay? And if you're gonna stretch, you might as well stretch all the way. Get the full screen. Don't do this halfway nonsense. I know people do that, but why? Do one or the other.
Go native. Would you know what's crazy? I remember when I first got my first retro handheld, which was the RP2. I remember being really excited because I could play Persona 3 Portable on it, and I showed a picture of it. I think on like a Facebook page or a group, and I got like roasted. Like, why would you want to play that on such a tiny screen? It looks terrible. Blah 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 blah. And now a bunch of people are doing it. It's not that bad.
No. All right, fair, fine. Yeah, and we'll do Dreamcast next, by the way. Oh no!
If you're a football fan, NCAA Football 07 runs great on PPSSPP.
I'll have to try that one out. Let's get the. Oh, they do have an auto frame skip 1 enabled. That's probably smart, actually. But let's get the freaking FPS counter on. And you know what we want to take a look at? See if controls, since we have a stick now, are we using the circular analog options? Under calibrate analog, circular stick input. See? Look at this. You see this? No. You want circular input. Better.
Wait, don't you want squares for some games that register that way?
Okay.
Or is that just for streaming?
I guess for some games. I mean, I always stick to having circular for PSP games. Just
PSP,
me,
yeah,
but,
you're right. You're right. Okay.
but yeah, you're right. You can configure it how you want per system, even per game in RetroArch, anyways. Yeah. It's still amazing to me that we're running PSP on this chipset.
It is. It's crazy that's what I was saying. Like, it's amazing how good PPS's PP is getting to where we can get all of these games running on these low-end devices.
Yeah.
Even what was it, like a year and a half ago? Like good PSP was like a benchmark that we all wanted. Now we're getting great PSP on a bunch of things. Sure, you're not going to be able to run like the really hard to emulate games, but I'd say based on kind of the games I played, 75 to 80% of the PSP library is going to be available to you. Even ports, like I was playing a little bit of the Doki Doki Literature Club port on this one, and it ran great.
Yeah, and that's something good to mention too. This will run exactly the same as your 35XX Plus.
Yes.
Same chipset. How many gigs of RAM did you say, Aish, for this one?
Just one gig.
And well, that'll do us. We're running Linux on here.
Yeah, for Linux, that's perfect. Well, not perfect, but it's fine for Linux. Here's the thing, though. If you have a 35XX Plus and you don't care about the sticks, this isn't really going to be an upgrade in any other area other than maybe comfort if you prefer a horizontal handheld and the sticks.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, not every device that comes out is something that you have to buy. Companies will put out a bunch of handhelds, and there's going to be a market for all of them, even if you're not the target for that specific device. So don't get angry at Anbernic just for this one. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. We're not being proper Amber shills, Aish. We got to say, we got to say, buy everything that comes out from this company. No. No.
Give Amber Daddy the money.
We would say that they've been a good company to generally work with, but there are a few products from them that I feel like are just classic essentials, and some of them I wouldn't necessarily recommend, and I definitely don't recommend getting every single one. This is shaping up so far to be one of the ones I'm leaning towards recommending, because it's just like taking everything I love about the RG35XX and the Plus and then adding joysticks to it, adding a second speaker to it, adding just that extra pocketability element, and adding the rubber grips on the back are a big thing to me. I miss those. That's really nice. And this is, I mean, think about it. This is an evolution of, remember that original retro handheld that Anbernic made, the RG,
what was it?
The 350. Well, and before that, that's just the 350 line.
Yeah, the 350.
The 350 devices. This is really elevating that whole line, and then adding Wi-Fi, adding Bluetooth. The most lightweight of their devices in this budget class. I mean, I need to weigh this one to be sure, but I think this one feels a little bit lighter.
Do you remember the 350M that didn't actually have sticks? It just had like these offsets, like balls. Like I'm not even sure what they were, but they weren't sticks. Yeah. It was like a sphere with some grip on it.
Right. Yep.
We've come a long way.
We've come a long way. Yeah, this is sleek so far. Look how thin this is. Hold on, let me get my measuring stick out. Yeah. This is what? That's not even half an inch. That's like 0.4 inches.
It looks tiny.
Teeny tiny.
When you were doing the size comparison, it looked a little bit bigger than like the Trim UI.
Yeah, let's take a look at that. It's a little cold in here today. 64.2. That's why I got my sweatshirt on.
Someone's asking how much N64 can this realistically do? I would say you're going to be able to play most games except the more demanding ones. Like, and for those, you might be able to get something like 007 to run, but there's going to be some compromises. But if you want to play things like Ocarina of Time, Mario 64, Mario Kart, games like that, you're not really going to have a problem running those.
Yep.
Things like Banjo is going to be an issue. Rogue Squadron is going to be an issue. Games like that, yeah, this isn't going to do it. It's not the handheld for that. But you know, some of the classic like heavy hitters for N64 are going to be playable.
It also comes in other colorways too. I didn't mention that earlier. So you have the purple option here, transparent purple, which is nice, and the other ones are going to be the. Let's see, should you have that? I know there was a.
Yeah, there's a black one. There is the transparent.
Transparent.
Let's see.
So just the white transparent. There's the black matte, and then this purple transparent. Those are the three. Those were the three that I had here.
Yep, right here. White transparent, black, and purple.
And then as far as the shell goes too, this is kind of skipped over some of this. This is a matte shell, not glossy at all. This feels like the same quality plastic that we saw in the 35XX itself. Very nice and matte. Feels good. The ergonomics so far, I'm really enjoying. And then if we wanted to compare just how thin this is neck and neck with the Trim UI.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to like that handheld so bad, but
the Trim UI is it's a hair. It's like a hair thinner. Let's see if there's any dead ringers here. What about compared to the 351P? There.
It looks thinner.
Yeah, it's thinner than the 351P, just a little bit. The sticks are recessed just a tiny bit more on the P, just a little bit.
Does it rattle?
Oh. No, I mean, you can hear the shoulder buttons rattle slightly, but you have to listen to it with the microphone like right now, basically. That's pretty nice and quiet. I'm
glad to have something again and something a little newer in the same form factor as the 351P. I like the idea of the 3x2 screen, but it only really worked for Game Boy Advance. Everything else felt really small to me, but it's a nice pocket-friendly handheld. Yeah, it is pocket-friendly. If everyone really wants to see the nubs on this, I keep seeing that in the chat. I'm happy to go upstairs, unbox that, and go grab a set in a little bit. But I'll leave it to Aish to maybe chit-chat with you guys for a minute. If I do that, let's try Bluetooth and Wi-Fi and see how it does. That might be a harder one to pair, by the way. Well, maybe we'll have to plug it in, but let's see what we can do here. And battery, easy to charge. Well, let's see what the battery charging situation's like. And remember, we're not going to cover everything today because we're going to be having Aish do his deep dive, and Zu's going to be doing his first impressions video. So there will be much more content from us about this. We like to do these live streams as sort of like a conversational Q&A, hang out with you all, and do a little due diligence while we're at it and show off what we can. This is the Hyperion controller by NYXI. Ooh, this reminds me of the Legion Go with its sticks. Oh, there's I didn't expect it to be separated like this. That's what I was saying, that it's going to be a little bit hard because those are Joy-Cons. You're supposed to slide them on the side. And connected things that aren't Nintendo Switch. Yeah, it's going to connect as two separate things. Oh, as two separate devices. Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah, it's not a solid controller. All. But look how cool it looks, though. And they're super comfortable. That green and gold. Yeah. That's what I was saying. Like, they make really good Switch controllers, but I'll pop this onto my Switch, and then it's my Switch. These will just be the sides. Those in. Interesting. That's fun. Well, I guess we'll talk more about this a different day. Should we see if it does connect, though? What if it did? Are we one to give up so easy? It sends two signals for Bluetooth, so it's like connecting two separate controllers. I'll send two signals on your Bluetooth. I don't know what that means, but by gosh darn, we're gonna figure this out. Let's
connect it to Wi-Fi too.
Hopefully this is running their latest update, so people don't have to go through the hassle of updating right now.
It seems to be. Seems to be. All right, do this off screen.
All right.
You can look at Aish's beautiful face in the meantime.
Hey everyone. So this is what most people are going to want to compare this to. And yeah, with the price drop, this is what I was saying, that hopefully they don't go too high price on this one and they keep it around the $65 to $70 price range, because this coming in at 99 bucks, and I think it just got a price drop again to like 80, 85 or $90. I'm not sure. Now, the reason why you would consider something like this, like that 35H, these names, man, 35XX H versus the 2S, is if you don't want to deal with Android. For a lot of people, they don't want Android. They want a Linux handheld. And now you have an option available that's going to be in a similar form factor. Actually, it looks like it's a little bit smaller than this. It's not going to be as powerful though, but you're going to be going with Linux. The D-pad is also different. So if you don't like a clicky D-pad like the 2S has, you have the option right there of a more traditional type of feeling. So that's kind of the reason for it. If the price is higher than that though, as big of a fan as I am of Anbernic, is if this is closer to that like $90 range, it's going to be a very, very hard sell, considering this goes for about the same price. So yeah, I really, really hope they nail that price point.
They better.
Yeah.
Otherwise that's it. Yeah, this isn't gonna be a thing.
No, it's not gonna be. Like right now, Retroid is kind of resetting the market for these handhelds. Yeah, go ahead. So they really, really need to hit this price point, and I think Anbernic's been doing a better job of that. They still unfortunately have this stigma where people think their stuff is overpriced, and they used to be. For a long time, they were pretty stubborn. Even with like the 552, they wouldn't drop the price on it, even though we had better options. But it does seem like they're starting to come around and things are priced a little bit better. Considering the 35XX Plus is about 60 bucks, and this does the same just with a couple added things, I can't see it being more than like 75 bucks with like $5 off. They always do at the beginning. So that's what I'm hoping we see. And I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt that they're going to be able to nail that. Because there's a lot of competition in this price range. So do I personally prefer? I prefer, for the most part, I like vertical handhelds just because I was a Game Boy kid. So anything that reminds me of that feeling is going to score pretty high up for me. And the thing is, with vertical handhelds, I don't want sticks. I'm not going to be playing anything on them that requires any type of analog input. So I'm okay with just a regular 35XX. And for most people, I would probably say go for that one. I haven't had hands-on on this one though, so I can't definitively say that until I actually put it through its paces and have a few days of testing it out, so I can actually make that video and tell you like, hey, this one's worth it or not. Yeah, 75 bucks I think is the right price point. If it's more than that, yeah, it's a hard sell. I don't know if they're late to the party, because it seems like from the big companies, and the big companies in my mind is Anbernic, Powkitty, Retroid, and Miyu. That's like the main players here. Other than Miyu, nobody's really doing anything in this category. So this is just another addition to that. What I do like about this one is that you're most likely going to get really good support from like Garlic OS, and we're going to see that pretty soon. We should actually start seeing updates here before long. It's just there's been some stuff going on in the background, so I don't know how much I can get into with that, but that is a big thing. Like, you could get really good custom firmware, which again brings me back to the 2S. With the 2S, you just have Android. That's it. So if you want Linux, if you want other options, you're not going to get those there. Probably soon. Usually when sorry, I forgot to say what I was answering. When this is going to ship, probably really soon, because Anbernic usually does this where they'll send out review units. A couple days later, like 2 or 3 days after, they'll start doing pre-orders, and then within like 2 weeks they start shipping. They're most likely going to try to get all of this done before the Chinese New Year's, which is why you tend to see a bunch of releases towards the end of the year. So they're trying to close everything out and get everything shipped. So we should see it pretty soon.
Oh, yeah.
And there he is.
Everything's fine.
He shows up with a bunch of controllers. Yeah, 4x3 I think is cool. I always like the idea of 3x2, but I think 4x3 is just a little more versatile because for 3x2 you get really good Game Boy Advance, but you get really bad 4x3 systems, especially on like these little screens.
I have a child gate. Sorry. I have a child gate to get into this room, and I tried to leap over it to be impressive, and I thought you were doing parkour. I foiled myself. At least I didn't soil myself. Rip Kyle. Now, Aish, do you have a good conversation with
I think people? So. Also, for people saying that like the markups, make sure you shop around. There's always going to be a cheaper option, and sometimes, even though AliExpress might be convenient, sometimes buying direct is actually a better option because the prices tend to fluctuate depending on what seller you're buying from.
Yeah, true.
If you go to our videos, we always put up a bunch of links for where you can pick it up. It's usually not just like the single one, so you can see, kind of shop around a little bit and find the best price for you.
On having 330 plus, though. Impressive. Oh, yeah. From some of those higher end. Exactly. Like, you don't need something like an Odin 2 or something crazy high end. What do you like playing the most? If you like playing PlayStation, do you need to go beyond this line of devices? Maybe not.
I think James means we have 330 people watching this right now.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a bit higher than normal.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Sorry to waste your time with all of the shenanigans. But I'm about to talk about some shenanigans really quick. So also we were sent these controllers by 8BitDo from Acnus on Amazon. And these are great. These should work as normal Bluetooth controllers, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those should.
So this is the 8BitDo Ultimate and the SN30 Pro. This is, of course, just a yellow garden gnome that Dan made me.
Childproofing your home unfortunately turns your home into a death trap for adults.
For myself, I know.
That's very true.
That. Isn't that cute? No. So we're gonna use one of these controllers to show off Bluetooth on this. If we want to try to see what kind of joystick nubs will fit, 3D Printed Studio sent me a can of beans for Ban. So there's some Ban baked beans.
Oh my God.
Here you go, buddy. And you want Stubbs Nubbs? I got Stubbs Nubbs.
You know, this was a meme at first. It was just like you just wanted to show a pancreas on screen, and you did it. And now it's an actual product.
I didn't want to show a pancreas on screen.
What's the best part is like this actually turned out to be a good product. Even Sujano was like, these are actually, you could tell he was surprised. Like he was not expecting this to be, something useful outside of like a funny meme. He's like, oh crap, this is actually pretty good.
Well, Sujano is a man of culture, you see.
He is.
So, just dropped all my nubs here.
For anybody that doesn't know, Stubbs Nubbs is joystick cap edition with grips that will try to assault you.
No, these are my joystick caps, okay? That come in, by the way, this is set 0. You get the certification of limited edition. 0 out of 5 for these sets. And there's different types. Yes, this one called the Ring is made mainly for focus and pain, and that was made by the 3D Printed Studio. I didn't say to do that one, but they took off, and Aquaclef and Game Tech Talk, other channels were like, yeah, this is the one to use. This is my favorite. This is to stimulate, of course, not only the pancreas, but to help with just stress and kind of endorphins as you're gaming. It helps you focus. And then the RH logo, it's nice and simple. And then this one's a pretty mellow version.
Ryan Casper's saying that NoFX has a song called Nubbs.
Hell yeah.
I think we need to
there we go.
send some emails.
So this is the special set. Now, what's important to note is, does this work on the 35XX, and will it enhance playing at all? Me being the person who made these, I'm going to be biased and assume that it will be good, but we'll see if it fits.
Mr. N, I think your question is completely valid.
Fun little things.
And surprisingly, yeah, I've got to admit, I was very skeptical on the nubs.
Lots of different colors.
I have them right here, and here we go. My camera won't focus on it, but yeah, they're actually pretty good.
Thanks, Aish. You don't have to. I didn't pay him to say that, everybody.
He didn't. They actually feel good. I wasn't expecting to like them either. I was like, what is Stubbs talking about?
Colors. Who knows?
I would love some Stubbs Nubbs in like a soft touch plastic feel.
Okay. Whatever you want, will do.
All right. Now back to what people are actually here to see. The 35XX H.
Let's pair it.
And which I'm assuming H means horizontal.
Yeah, H is for horizontal. We only lost 20 people on that segment.
Yeah.
I'm proud of us.
I was not paid for my commendation of Stubbs Nubbs.
While we're waiting for that to pair. Oh. Oh, yeah. Okay, these are definitely Joy-Con size sticks.
Yeah. So usually,
there you go.
See if I.
Yeah, that fits.
Here it is.
That's gonna fit the same as Powkitty devices lately, like the RGB30.
Okay. See these sticks? I don't know if it's focusing. Should be right.
Yeah.
Right there. See how the ring on the outside is a little bit different?
Yeah.
This is usually how the Hall sticks look. So if you see just regular looking sticks on one of Anbernic's handhelds, they're not Hall sticks.
All right. No, not Hall sticks.
Nope.
At least we cleared that up.
Which is fine. I'm hoping that just brings the price down.
All right, let's do a refresh. How does it feel compared to similar mold devices? There's James DeWitt's. Yeah, man. I mean, if the plastic feels just like the OG 35XX, and as far as other plastic devices that are horizontal by them, let's see, what was the last one? Pop quiz for anybody out there.
The last
plastic horizontal.
Oh, plastic.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. Actually, I think it was the 351p. No, it wasn't. It was the 353p.
Oh, the 353p. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
I have one of those around here somewhere. No, if I don't know. It's just, yeah. I like it so far. Come on.
That's true. The arc is horizontal too. I guess we're just not thinking of the 353p and the arc because they're a slightly different form factor, but those are horizontals. They're huge though. They're going to be way bigger than this.
Yeah.
This is pretty much the same size, actually a little bit smaller than the 351p.
Yeah. It looks very similar to an updated 350, James. That's a great assessment. And it feels similar too. I think the ergonomics feel better though. It definitely feels like it has more modern touches in it. Okay, there we go. There we go.
You should be able to control it. Yep.
Enhance. Earn your beans. Okay. So what should we do next?
You know what? While you're there, well, actually, no. Once you disconnect the controller, I want to see if the D-pad is still working correctly, like the new one. Because I don't know. You said it was a little looser. I'm hoping the false inputs are back.
I'm testing to see if Bluetooth is responsive. Okay, so I just turned Bluetooth off. There we go. Connected right away. Okay.
Nice.
I was concerned at first, so that's much better. Oh, except the buttons on this are switched. That's what's throwing me off. So A and B are swapped.
Xbox, you can change that
Physically on here?
No, you can do it on the handheld. So just keep scrolling down. There's a button like input modifier thing.
Button customize.
Yeah.
Right, but it's gonna swap it on here though, isn't it?
No, that's just for the controller.
Oh no! Oh no way! That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do I do this?
You're doing it wrong. So go ahead and exit out of there.
Oh no. Oh no, Aish.
Hold the D-pad up 3 seconds.
I'm scared for that. I'll just...
Yeah, say no. Say no. Just no.
Yeah.
There you go.
No. Now what do you want me to do?
If you want to remap it, if not, you can just leave them like RetroArch will fix it.
Yeah, we'll not worry about that right now.
Yeah.
It's my own pet peeve. So what do you think is a good test for the D-pad for you? You want to do this like a contour test or something?
I love you too, chat. Thank you. Everybody in chat. Yeah, well, contours, I usually, so for my D-pad test, I'll usually do something different. I just go to like the input tester and I'll press down and I'll wiggle around a little bit. But if you want to do an in-game, the thing is, this is going to test like the 8-bit D-pad though, not the actual handheld.
Yeah, we're going to have to...
You can come back to that.
We're going to disconnect Bluetooth.
As soon as garlic is ready,
pretty purple. I wish you know what I wish this purple looks, because look at when you put these purples next to each other. This is such a hotter purple. You know, this is a very subtle purple. This is like a lavender purple. This is like a grape purple.
Yep. I was gonna say, as soon as Garlic OS 2.0 is ready, we're gonna be covering it. There was some delays, so that's why we haven't said anything on it. It's not ready to be like your main OS. And I already covered a video how to install it on like the 405M and 405B. And unfortunately, even there, it's not really ready to be the main thing at this point. So that's why we haven't done much on it. Pretty soon, though, I would say like early next year, there's going to be some updates, and we're definitely going to be covering that.
Oh, the nubs feel good on here, though. That's what's important. Okay, let's get out of here and do your D-pad test. We'll come back to the controller.
So it's essentially Garlic OS 2.0 is going to be very, very similar to Onion. So you're pretty much going to be getting Onion on Anbernic devices. For people that don't know, Garlic OS is based on Onion. Well, not based, but inspired by Onion. So what I do there is I'll hold D-pad down. And then I'll just wiggle it around a little bit. Just push it like side to side while holding it down. See that? If that happens too easy, that means the D-pad is loose. On the new one, on the 35XX, the new version.
No, I mean, it's moving accurate. Well, it's moving accurately.
There you go. Yeah.
Like if I go to the very, very bottom and I try to move it. Yeah. Okay. It will move though. So maybe
now the other thing I do is I'll rapidly press left and right really quick. I'll go back and forth. If I start seeing like inputs from other directions, it's too loose. But right there, it actually looks pretty good. Because what happens with a lot of people is like good. when they're rapidly switching directions is when they notice those accidental inputs. Yeah. Like you still want the D-pad to hit a diagonal, especially for like fighting games, but you don't want it to be too sensitive.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to, again, I think I'll have to try it in game to be sure, but that feels like it's a really easy pivot around the axis there.
Yeah, but no, just seeing like what you did, I don't think you're going to be having false diagonals.
R3, we get an R3. And then for L3, there's an L3. B, A, X, Y. L, R, L2, R2. Start, select, even volume up and down are in here, which is nice. So yeah, we're looking good there.
And now if you want to do a contrast for some visual, it's up to you. But I think we covered it with that one.
Yeah. Again, that Contra isn't my game, so I need to find my own game that I'm like really good at figuring out that sort of stuff for. That's Russ's game. I'll find one.
Pretty obsessive with D-pads, so I found like the input tester works pretty good.
Well, we told people that we'd be playing Dreamcast.
Was there always a standalone Dreamcast simulator? I don't think there ever was. I think it's just RetroArch.
Yeah. You're correct. It's not in there. We get Crazy Taxi 2.
Daylight Silence. We were discussing how it feels very similar to the 351p because the metal one's pretty heavy. But yeah, this is pretty much just like a plastic version of that.
Here's an annoyance, though, is that the controller is not recognized by default in RetroArch. So you're going to have to go in here, hit function, and you're going to have to map it real quick.
Oh, that's weird.
Did you see this on the Plus? Or did it just work?
It just worked.
Okay. Maybe, You know what? Maybe if I...
Go ahead and move it, because normally RetroArch just registers, it recognizes the
yeah. Well, I'm just wondering if I turn off the controller, turn it back on, it'll register it. Come on, controller.
It looks like it hasn't connected. It's connected again.
So it disconnects when it goes in the game? Or just
I'm not sure. That's what it looked like.
No, there it goes. So yeah, there might need to be some sort of troubleshooting there. Maybe, Anbernic, if you're watching this stream, could you, on your next update, fix why that happens? This should automatically pick up when you launch a game. That's silly. It worked in the menus right away, but you're going to have to, as it stands right now, it looks like you're going to have to go in RetroArch and start messing around.
Which is unfortunate. Which, if you go and just open, if this is the case and it's not something else, if you just open RetroArch, map the controls, it should cover it for all the systems.
Well, yeah, but I shouldn't have. We should not have.
You shouldn't. Yeah, you shouldn't have to do that.
It's Crazy Taxi 2.
Especially not with that controller, because it usually works right away with RetroArch.
Yeah, well, stay tuned for our further content on this to see more about that. Aish, I'm sure in your deep dive you're going to be covering that more in depth, right?
Oh yeah.
So it's not the end of the story for that, but that is a little disappointing to see. The buttons, yeah, raw. The buttons are glossy, indeed.
I don't really have a problem with glossy buttons, but so I'm good with it. But I guess if you really like that matte texture.
Yeah, get out of my way. I need to drop off my fare. Yeah. This isn't how I drive in real life, everybody. I promise. My kids are safe. Everything's fine. Ow. I have to pick somebody up, but I just got off work. I just want to go to the, go to the watering hole. I've been working all day with my taxi job. I got to take another lady somewhere. All right.
Does anybody else play GTA the same way they play Crazy Taxi? Because I pretty much do.
Yes. Get out of my way.
Yeah, James is saying we're about to get a strike, and I agree. We should probably turn on the music.
We've yet to get a strike for this song ever.
Okay.
So I am playing with fire. You know what? Good. I don't need to know the result. Everything's all right. It's not Uber. Yeah, we'll see if we get a copyright on that one.
Are you feeling confident in your Hadoukens?
You know what? I was doing the other day in Street Fighter V on my Steam Deck, and I was like, you know what? I'm getting better at this. Let's put money where my mouth is.
CPS 3.
I don't have it. I mean, it's on here. The stock ROM should be on here, but I removed it from.
Can you just go back? Yeah, I was gonna say just go back to the SD card. CPS 3 Street Fighters is the better.
All right.
Is the better version, in my opinion.
Okay. Offspring doesn't give a crap about YouTube. The other word that I could say there is shit. We get 4 of those per stream. That's one.
Maya, and he's just feeling feisty today. We don't want to tempt YouTube with copyright strikes.
Only
well, that's a good question.
Because,
I wonder if he can play Quest 64. Like, that's a game nobody ever asks for.
Sure,
try it.
Let's do it, man.
I'll be sure to add that game to the actual review, which give me a few days on that one. I should have my unit tomorrow. No, it's Ryu. That's not the one. That's not the guy.
I chose the defaults. Doesn't he do something?
He doesn't do Hadoukens.
He don't. What does he do?
I don't know.
He does that. He does hoo-ah.
Yeah.
See? Still counts, right?
Yeah, but we can't steal Russ's line and say it's Hadoukenable.
That's Russ's. That's Russ's thing.
If he was gonna sue us, he would have done it by now.
Listen, the Offspring was gonna sue us. They would have done it by now.
That's true. That's a good point.
We're an LLC now. We don't. At least we get sued, and I don't get sued in particular, which is always nice. Not wanting to call. Can we edit? You can edit that part out. It's fine.
Alex is a charge attacker. That's a good point. I usually just stay with like Ryu and Ken on this game, so
I don't really know.
So
he's gonna. I don't know any of his moves. This is smooth, though. I do have to say that. We're getting solid 60 FPS on CPS3 here. And look at that. See? Nothing but net every day.
So for everybody asking for games, we're not going to be able to cover all of them in this stream, but definitely leave your comments and I'll go over the games in there, and Zu will do the same, and we'll do our best to show them in the following videos. There's going to be a video from Zu, and then there's going to be a longer review from me. So we'll definitely try to cover as much as we can. Obviously, we're not going to be able to do all of them, at least that's for an extended period of time, but we can definitely boot it up and see how it's running.
And I'm feisty. It's because I hadn't planned on being on camera today. But that's how it goes with these things, you know? That's kind of my role here, is doing these live streams, heading these up. And well, some companies do send tracking information ahead of time, which is nice. You kind of can plan your week out. Some companies do not send tracking information always reliably. And so then you get sort of chaos.
And Anbernic is one of them.
I wasn't going to say that, but...
Why will
It's chaos.
I like Anbernic, but they are not good with tracking and stuff.
No, sometimes we'll get it like
reviewers. Yeah,
we'll get it like I'll probably have tracking later tonight.
Yeah, it's like, oh, it's on its way. Like, yeah, dude, it's here.
So it's like I was gonna spend time with my kids today, but it's also cool to talk about these handhelds. I feel even worse, though, because we were having the bandwidth issues before the stream, and so they were going to watch me on the live stream here. They were very excited to finally do that, and I had to ask them to not watch me and watch me after, because I know, well, having funky internet stuff, so you got to limit the bandwidth, and I got to upgrade our router.
Q Bowser. Sometimes I don't think people should be reviewing retro games in the same style as they review modern games. He's saying how Quest 64 got like ripped apart by like some modern reviewers. It's just not a fair comparison.
Okay, so the Hadouken is, let's see, punch, and it's down to the left. There we go.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay.
It's down, then diagonal.
What's that super one?
You have to do the D-pad sequence twice and then the punch button.
Ooh.
So down, diagonal, in this case, it would be left twice, and then, but you need to charge up your energy. You don't have any right now.
Oh, okay. You guys never told me that part before.
We didn't get that far.
Well, hey, I'm doing Hadoukens pretty consistently, though.
Yeah.
Easy. These are easy. Yeah, you just do down, left, punch. Okay, this is a really nice loose D-pad if you want to do Hadoukens and fighting stuff. I can say that. This is the easiest I've ever probably done a Hadouken.
You had me when you said it feels like the Miyu Mini D-pad.
Oh, yeah. Which isn't a plus to me, which isn't something that I think is a good thing.
That's a huge plus for me.
But a lot of people love that Miyu Mini Plus D-pad. It's so loose. Okay, let's try something else. Let's we said Quest 64. Let's see if I have that. I bet you I do.
Oh, that'd be great if you do.
Yeah, and now's kind of the chance if you have extra questions or things you want us to cover. I'm kind of done with the main stuff. We're, of course, going to give our summary of what we think and feel about this thing so far.
Play DVR.
But we can hang out a bit here if you have questions. And we'll cut it in about 15 minutes.
Quest 64 is like one of the few RPGs that we got for. There it is.
I've never played Quest 64.
Most people haven't.
Yeah, this is definitely. This is okay. So, question: is this the Anbernic stock card? It's a combination. So it's the stock card in slot 1, and then I added on my second 35XX Plus card in slot 2, which I've put on my own games.
Mm-hmm.
So I get this. You get the stock ROMs, and then plus the own games. My own games I added on. So sticks are not Hall effect, Josh. Bluetooth headphones. That's a fair thing. Oh,
I don't think so because they haven't added support for that.
Yeah, there's no support in the software for that yet. So stay tuned for that. Here's Quest 64. I've never played this game in my life, so I might need some help.
Oh, Hollywood Video.
Buttons can be modified easily with Miyu Mini ABXY. Now, I don't know if you could use the Minis ABXY, but you're going to be able to use whatever buttons that you can use in the 35XX Plus.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to be seeing buttons, mods, and all that pop up on a bunch of Etsy shops. Mm-hmm. A bunch. Don't you me, Aish.
I was agreeing with you.
Oh, okay. That's an agreeing. Like, mm-hmm. I thought it was like I thought it was like more of like a you said what? And I'm like, no. 30 FPS, is that a good FPS? Must be a 30 FPS game. That appears to be full.
That's a really high frame rate for the N64.
Which is
somebody I on a Facebook post I saw somebody was asking like, hey, do you guys know how I can get
where do I go
007 to run at 60 FPS? And I was like, the original game ran at like a 15
There's
FPS.
a door here.
Yeah,
let's go through the door.
Only Y and V are going to be your input buttons. Remember, that's A and B.
Y and B. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, now you get to have the second stick here, so you can use your C buttons.
Mm-hmm.
So that's fun. So we should try something that maybe uses those. What if we did something crazy and like played GoldenEye or Perfect Dark?
I don't know if Perfect Dark's going to work, but you could try GoldenEye. You should be able to get it like running decently.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how long it takes to get this game out on the field, but that's where you would know how well it's going to run.
I no idea what I'm doing here. There's a chest here. Tonight, is there something in there? Give me some dopamine hits early on in the game. This is a bookshelf. Is there a secret book I need to pull out or something?
That's a wall.
Okay. Gells, as you get close to a hidden spirit, you will see a sign. When you see it, press the Z button. That's going to be L2. Sorry, I keep catching reflections of my overhead light. There's
another door.
Hey. Where does this go? Probably down these stairs. Very good. What's my name in this game? My name is just Quest?
That's a good question. I don't remember.
Brian? I feel like it's Brian.
He looks like more of a Kevin.
I think he's a Brian. Brians are always pretty solid. Well, it's about 50-50, actually. I've known some good Brians. I've known some bad Brians. This looks like it's a big door that goes somewhere.
Goat V8. Somebody was saying that the 353M is actually a little bit bigger than this.
Okay, so now we're outside.
Yeah.
We're still getting 30 FPS.
So, yeah, if you want to play Quest 64, I think you're good. That's what I was saying with N64. You're going to be able to play a lot of games. It's just like the high-end games that are going to have a hard time.
Mm-hmm. Now,
start.
Okay, so saving.
Start.
No, I'm trying to do save state.
Got it.
That's awkward though. I don't love that. But I really like this handheld so far. Just mostly because of the ergonomics and the weight and having sticks. I'm gonna have some thoughts about the software though. The stock software is your best option right now. There is the option of putting the Garlic OS 2.0 alpha on here. It's not really ready to be used yet. I wouldn't use it yet. There's also Mustard OS or Moo OS for short. Also in an alpha state, also not really fully ready to enjoy. And then there's going to be Batacera Kariki, which is probably the furthest along of the three, but it's not going to be as much of a user-friendly UI experience. And so even that one I'd recommend just to wait a little bit longer on. It should push the most power out of the chipset so far, though. But your best overall option, actually, right now, as of today, anyways, is going to be the stock OS, really. But this is not the final form of this device. You're going to hear much more happiness in my voice when we get Garlic OS to fully released, at least a beta state, to where we can really utilize this hardware and have a faster, snappier experience. Because I got to tell you, this is awesome hardware. All we need is some good software. And it has decent software, but not good software. They keep trying. This is their best stock OS yet. But it's not what I would call comparable to the Miu Mini or the Miu Mini Plus with Onion OS. Onion OS is so freaking fluid and smooth and feature rich. While this one does have plenty of features in it, I can't call it super smooth or snappy. And even though the UI is simple to navigate, and why I think it's best to leave it on stock if it's for a beginner or if it's someone in your life who doesn't normally interact with these devices. For us who've been using all these devices for many years and we kind of know what's out there, we know, what we like, what we don't like. Just Garlic getting to a fully functional state is going to just make this thing sing. It really is, because the software, look how damn thin that is. And then while these don't add a lot to ergonomics, there's something nice and tactile about that experience of having those nips on the back.
So somebody made a really good question, and I think you can speak on this one because you actually had the thing. Compared to something like the R36S in that price range, like what would you tell somebody to lean on? Like, would you go for the R36S, or would you go with something for like the 35XX or the H?
Did you say the R36S? Yeah.
Somebody was asking that, and I think that's a good question. See, I haven't been hands-on with the 36S, so I don't know. I can't speak to the quality or anything like that.
Yeah, the 36S is fantastic, but the hardware isn't going to be as good as you have here or in the Plus, for the matter of the fact that the shoulder buttons aren't going to be sort of ergonomically shaped, so they're all flat, and they're clicky and kind of whatever. The D-pad's fine, but it's stiff. And the face buttons are stiff. So there's going to be some rubber membrane mods you're going to have to do to these to make this a more usable experience. The joysticks are fine though. They're good. But the thing is that this is coming in around what, $40 or so these days, and for under $50 anyways. This is really, really hard to beat. This is really well done. Plus, you get a slew of firmware. You get ArcOS, all that. That's great. This one is awesome hardware. It is quality hardware right out the gate. You can just feel that about a lot of Anbernic products. It's just the software isn't quite there yet, and so we are going to need some improvement there. Whereas this, you get some really quality software. You get ArcOS. You get other options with hardware that is, it's close. It's definitely worth it under $50, but spend a few more, get something like the 35XX. Plus, if you want Wi-Fi anyways, I still recommend to this day just getting a regular OG, just getting the regular OG 35XX. No Wi-Fi, but the experience from software to hardware, all of it good. Probably still have to do some button mods to get that D-pad how you want it. Oh, yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is.
So basically, the hardware experience just isn't going to be as good, while the software is going to be a little bit better.
Yeah, and compared to the Arcade 2023, that's a good comparison. Powkitty did an awesome job with their 2023 this year. I have one upstairs. I didn't bring it down for this video, but it's going to be, it's going to be a little bit shorter. But the joysticks are going to be pretty similar feeling. The D-pad is going to be comparable, and the face buttons, I'm going to like, just for me, I like better here. They're a little bit, I don't know, cheaper feeling on the RGB30 for face buttons, but not altogether too far off. Aish, I like that when you turn your camera off, it shows my face. It's good. It's a good touch. The M17, this is $30 to $40 price range. This has a PSP screen and non-clickable sticks, decent D-pad and face buttons, also having some custom firmware hitting it. This is still a great thing for the price. There is the Arcade 2023. Can we show that one real quick?
I don't have mine yet, but from what I'm seeing, it's about the same size as the 351P. And here's the Arcade 2023. So it's going to be smaller. This should give you a pretty decent idea of what the size is going to be.
Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be taller. I don't know, man. The Arcade 2023, I think, was good at the time, but the hardware, again, leaves a lot to be desired. And we've been in that position where we'll see a handheld that's a little bit more powerful, but the hardware isn't there. And then you think you're going to be okay with that until you get hands-on and you realize like the hardware experience matters a lot, like the way the buttons feel, the way it feels in your hand. So for that reason alone, I'm going to say if the price is similar and you can invest in something that's going to be a little bit more quality for not a lot more money, go with that one.
Yep. Any other games that we want to see? I'm going to go back through the chat. I missed a lot of comments. I'm going to see if I missed any that we have time to hit. Maybe Aish, maybe I'll actually let you look at the comments.
For $37 for the R36S, that's a good deal.
Yeah, that is a great deal.
Yeah,
that is a great deal. Just again, and for some people, maybe many people, they won't mind the stiff buttons. It's not the end of the world. It's for snobs who've been using every handheld where we're like, we know it can be a little bit better. So why not pay a few more dollars to kind of get that better experience? And better, of course, is subjective. So
I've been there many times where it's like, oh man, this is only a couple dollars more. So I understand like how much that matters. If it's $36, you can get it for that, and you're not going to have any import fees. That's a no-brainer. That's a great deal. You're getting a good handheld with good software backup support. I'm sorry, and it's going to be able to play a lot of games.
Ocarina of Time.
Oh, have you played the PC port yet?
Thank you, YouTube member subscriber Frankly Retro. We will play Ocarina of Time.
I've been playing the PC port, and it's amazing.
And
some guys also. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, as far as the screen quality goes, it's on camera. It's always kind of hard to do that because it's in the lowest brightness setting right now. This is the dimmest setting, by the way. There is an option in the menu to further make it dimmer when you're playing at night if you want, but this will be pretty decent. It does get fairly bright, and we'll look at that in a minute.
That option is only for RetroArch though, so it won't really work with PBS's PP or the standalones.
It's a filter for RetroArch, absolutely.
You can do Master Quest with the port. I really hope we get a Linux port of it, like Ocarina of Time, to run on these handhelds, because it's the best way to play that game.
Yeah.
I'm playing on the Steam Deck at 90 hertz with like the 3DS character models. It's so good. I would just fast forward all that if you can, because the intro can take a little bit of time.
What's our take on a metal shell for this? I think it would be I think there'd be no point. It would be so heavy at that point. I would say spend more money, get a 353M, which is the same handheld with way more power. You know, it's just, why make this experience heavier? This is so pocketable and light.
Yeah,
that is really, really nice.
Yeah, I don't really see the point in a lot of metal handhelds, even with like the 405, which I think they did a good job on. I would prefer if it was plastic.
I want a 405p, and same thing with on the Retroid side of the fence. I don't see a big point to the RP2S Metal Edition, which is why it's something we haven't really covered yet. I didn't order it because I'm like, why take that pocketable, lightweight experience and make it heavier? Not only that, but you get some Wi-Fi interference having a metal shell, just regardless of anything else, just by its nature. And that's not a fun thing. So that's my take, anyways.
I hope Anbernic's answer to
and it makes it more expensive. That's right, Burnsy.
Yep. I hope Anbernic's answer to the RP4 is something with a 4x3 screen. Maybe like a 3588 or maybe even a Z900. I don't know, or whatever chip they're going to be using that's comparable. But give us that 4x3 screen experience.
Yeah. And the one metal device, which I do like, is, and QBrowser brought up a great point, is the RG Nano. This one, of course, could be even lighter weight with the plastic shell, but it's so small that the metal isn't too much of a deterrent or distractor for me. And it's so solid. It's just like a tank, you know? Kind of toss that one around in your bag or whatever, and you're going to be all right. RG Nano, not bad.
It's all right.
It's aight.
It's all right.
It's aight. Putting it in a fanny pack, though, that makes it next level. We're getting some slowdown here in Ocarina of Time. We're getting about 19 FPS.
Well, the game ran at 20 originally.
Okay, so is this standard?
It might be.
For the game?
How fluid does it look? Because Ocarina ran at 20 FPS.
Yeah, I mean, it looks fluid. I don't see slowdown. So I guess there's your answer, right?
Yep.
All right.
Check fast forward if the frame. Oh, never mind. I was gonna say if the frame rate goes up, then we're good.
It doesn't.
Good.
No, it doesn't go up. No.
Never mind then.
What's game of the month right now? I think we have Mario 3 is one of them. So let's do an NES game. Let's see how movement. Frame pacing is something I noticed between the Plus and the Miu Mini Plus and the Anbernic RG35XX Plus. Frame pacing was much better on the Miu Mini Plus. And so that's something I want to start checking when we're evaluating these things, is not only does it, if it shows full speed, does that mean the fluidity of the movement, is going to be the same? Because there's a difference there, and it's sometimes hard to tell unless you have them next to each other. So let's just see how it feels. I should have brought my Miu Mini Plus downstairs. See how it feels in Mario 3.
Look at all those legal backups.
All of them.
We just don't show the physical connection because we don't want to flex on people.
Yeah, can't flex. We must not flex.
So Jack keeps asking, how do your hands feel?
My hands?
Yeah, do they cramp or anything?
I mean, no. It's so lightweight that it really makes no difference to me if it's in my hands or not. You know what I mean? Like it's lightweight enough to where it's like I could just have it sit there while writing something or doing something else. So
how dare you play this game with a joystick?
Oh, sorry. It works with the joystick, though. At least they have it mapped to use the joystick by default as an option. I always like that option. Aish.
That's I understand that, but how dare you?
D-pad, analog stick,
We
Judger
are retro
McJudgerson.
handhelds, sir.
Well,
We live in a society.
I can play the game how I want to play the game. You play the game how you play the game. I think there's no bad way to play games unless,
This is an NES game. There is a bad way to play this game.
There is?
Yeah, and it's with
Let me tell you what's bad about this. Let me tell you what's bad about this. The default button mapping on the face buttons. That's the tragedy here.
What's it mapped to?
So I'm just trying to get a good flow here. So, well, these are hot. These are like turbo buttons.
Yeah, those are turbo
by default.
It should just be A and B.
So
yeah.
Okay, maybe there we. Okay, so hold this to run. There we. Okay, I got it.
Well, that's not a fault of the handheld. That's just Nintendo using a wrong button layout.
Yeah, that's just. I know.
I always change that, so I end up using Y. And
it's just fun to fight. It's just fun to fight with you. That's all.
It is. I know.
It's my favorite.
Like for Game Boy Advance, I always remap A and B to Y.
Oh no!
Because he just
star.
Better.
Did I get a star? Oh, I got a mushroom. This is garbage. Can't believe this. On this live stream, on this YouTube channel, on this day, localized entirely to my handheld? No.
I don't see any screen tearing or anything.
No, the frame pacing feels good in this. Donkey Kong Country was another test that was.
I see big. A skill issue, but that's different.
Hey, now you. I know what we need to do here. Yeah, there it is. Remember that classic? Accept my shorts, Cummings.
Hey, don't give Nintendo music any time.
Ah. I'm sorry. I thought I'd filtered that out. Can you run a web server on it? Kind of. Do you ever use Moonlight? Not a web server. You can. Your PC is the server. You connect it, and this is the. But you can at least do that. Web server. I don't know about that. Maybe not. Where the hell was it? Network settings. Moonlight. So you can enter your
for another thumb comment.
A thumb comment? My God, that's the biggest thumb I've ever seen.
We covered this at the beginning of the stream.
We've already covered the thumb issue. My human anatomy being the topic of discussion more than the handheld is just not right. It's just not right.
His left thumb is Luigi. His right thumb is Mario.
See, lately, it's either my thumbs where like, what the hell is wrong with it? I don't want to be rude. Or it's like that I'm wearing glasses now, which is just my eyesight getting worse because I'm old. I don't know. But hey, I have all of my teeth.
Not everybody can say that.
So, well, actually, I lost 4 wisdom teeth in a horrible accident. But it's fine. Well, it was a scheduled accident, so at the dentist.
So I really hope Anbernic doesn't do a metal shell. I don't think they would. I don't see any reason why they would, but
yeah,
let's hope it stays that way.
What else do we want to do here? Anything else? You know, Sega Saturn runs on this?
It does, to an extent.
It does. It sure do, though.
It could probably run better once optimized.
There's nothing wrong with your Nubbs. Oh, I don't know. Sometimes I feel old. But when I play with retro handhelds, I feel young at heart.
That's not going to hold up in court, but that's okay.
Hey, we're making art here.
Yes.
There's no
Yes,
rules.
we are.
There's no rules. Okay, Saturn, of course, is not going to let you fast forward really because it's pushing as hard as it can. It is going 60 FPS so far in the intro of Alien Trilogy. to youth. Youths. But the future hope of our whole hobby rides on one man. His name's Dan. These are his baked beans when he's been good. It was the retro handhelds, Your Honor. It always was.
Also, keep in mind that all of this performance you're seeing today is going to get better once we get custom firmware.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Point out is that we saw this with the stock experience with the first 35XX is that, you're going to get middling performance that you can take the time because you get full access to RetroArch in here. So you can take the time to go in here, tweak everything to your liking, and you can get this to a state where you're pretty damn happy with it. It's just the fact that it'd be nice if that was that way out of the box. And so software like Garlic, other custom firmwares that focus on that experience, it's just really makes us just chef's kiss.
I mean, it's staying pretty steady.
Oh, yeah. Frame rate wise, it's good. And man, those nubs put me in happy land. Let's see some explosions. You guys want to see some explosions? Guys are going to see this and say, hell yeah. Dude, what the hell is that sound? Our dogs.
Oh, I didn't. I thought the mic was filtering that. That's why I hadn't said anything. There's a bunch of huskies next door, and they just go crazy.
Are they making love? Like, are the huskies making love?
They're doing husky things, man. I don't know what they do. They just go because it's just one. All it takes is one of those crazy dogs who just start.
I have a husky.
Pack starts doing it.
Well, because I'm saying it's because remember we named our owls our patrons after the fact that the owls on the podcast outside Thor's window were being intimate. They're hooting.
They're hooting.
And that inspired a whole movement. So I want to know if your huskies were going to become a meme or not.
I don't know what. I don't ask him.
Dude, why don't these barrels explode?
I know. I mean, you're shooting them.
Any other game, these barrels explode. Any other game.
Oh, wait. So you don't know if they explode? You were just guessing.
I don't know if they explode. Yeah, I don't know if that's a design flaw or... That's really upsetting for me.
They follow OSHA regulations.
Daniel, is garlic better? Again, super, subjective, but garlic generally is going to give you both better performance and a better UI. Batacera, I haven't used much myself on this yet, on any of these. All I know is that it's going to give you the most features and the most performance. But Batacera is going to have a lot more setup stuff. It's going to be left to you to kind of tweak stuff and all that. And so it's for the advanced user. I'll say that. It's probably the best advanced user OS at the moment.
Yeah. So if you want something that's pick up and play, that's really easy to get in and out of games, Garlic OS is better. If you want something that's likely going to squeeze out every single last drop of performance, then Batacera.
We got ports, all kinds of ports. Super Noah's Arc 3D. Guys are going to see this and say, hell yeah. My favorite meme lately. Oh no, I just quit.
I definitely agree it's worth learning it. After a while, once you go through a bunch of handhelds, you start to put a lot more value on simplicity and just getting in and out of games. So it's the same with RetroArch. I think everybody should take the time to learn RetroArch because there's a lot to be done there. But for day to day, just dealing with stuff like that can get a little bit old, and it's just nice to be able to pick something up and resume where you left off.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years? I see myself having the best retro handheld, the only retro handheld, and there's no point to being on the internet anymore. No, that'll never happen. We'll never have the perfect one device. So we'll just give up on that dream now. But in 5 years, I expect to be doing something fun. Probably we'll have the best 35XX by then.
Hopefully more
Garlic 5.0. More of this. And Ban lives in my attic, everybody. He is our producer. He produces the show and controls the lighting and all that, runs the live stream, comments from the attic. And that's why he has his beans. No, we'll see. We'll see. They say that the beauty is gone in a flash. But thank you, Ra. That's very nice of you. I don't count on anything. Only thing I can count on is D's Nubbs. While I'm hanging out in D's Nuts. Okay, the frame pacing is definitely much smoother here. I had updated to one of the updates from Anbernic for my Plus, and it ruined the frame pacing. Everything was fine, except all of a sudden I got stuttery movements in NES and SNES. So at least that is not the case on this stock 1219 version of the firmware. Vent sniffing. You know that, okay, we need to have a conversation about vent sniffing. Don't do it. It's not healthy for you. It could bring health problems. Having said that, this is something that everyone requests. I'm not gonna smell it. There's no vent to smell, but I'm gonna, of course, do a little. It's like a really thin PB&J that's hardened. Not bad. It does taste like purple. Yeah, you damn vent smellers. Why are you smelling those vents? You're not supposed to be doing that. Come on.
This is a good question. What would you recommend for somebody just getting into handhelds? Like, what's a good system for them? I think something like the 35XX or the Miu Mini is a perfect place to start because it's pretty user friendly, but it still gives you access to like retro art and all those things.
Getting a last gen retro handheld, which is funny calling something retro last gen, but getting last year's model is going to mean you're not going to have maybe the latest greatest in performance, but that doesn't matter as much as having the latest greatest in software. So you're getting the most optimized software on a little bit older chipset where the experience overall is going to be better. It just is. This will be way better performance in many ways in about a year from now. I'm sure we're going to have in the next 3 months leaps and bounds. 6 months, we're going to see a public release of Garlic 2.0.
Next year is going to be crazy.
Next year will be crazy. Yeah, a year, easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
If the retro pocket. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say any final game that we wanted to try before ending it. We did SNES. We did
PSP, Dreamcast.
PSP, a little bit of Dreamcast, N6 or Nintendo DS. That's something else because you get to use that stick now, which is great.
I was going to say, if the Retro Pocket 4 is any indication of what's coming, it's going to be crazy next year.
RP4, it's the year of the RP4. And honestly, I mean, I'm going to save my thoughts because I have some thoughts to give to everybody when we end the stream. But I have some things to say here about this.
So L2, R2 should rotate the screens, and I may be pressing down on L3 should register an input. I don't know if you want to do that with Stubbs Nubbs, but
yeah, down. Oh, you mean L3, R3? Yeah. Yeah. These are the spikies, by the way, and they are
very spiky.
Spiky. They're not dangerous. No one has reported any bleeding.
I'm not sure I understand this question about any predictions or things you think will make it in the next Nintendo console this March. I don't think it's coming this March. I don't think it's coming till maybe the end of next year or early 2025. Nintendo seems pretty set on milking the Switch until it becomes the all-time best-selling console. We still have Metroid Prime 4 coming for it, which they're saying it's still going to be a Switch game, so I don't think they're going to save that one for next gen.
I'm glad we're doing the live stream today, though.
Me too.
Because it's a chance to hang out with the live chat folks, and there's some
I
pleasant
wonder-
folks.
Yeah. I wonder what Nintendo's going to do about that new Switch cart.
the new hardware, the new hardware hack,
The new R4.
the cart. Yeah, I wonder how long that's going to work. You know, they're going to patch that out real quick.
I don't think they can though because of the way it works. So you have to put all of the files in there, and if you put everything in there, it's going to be really hard for the Switch to tell apart from an actual like official game. If you're just dropping in like the file alone, as long as you don't connect to the internet, you should be fine. But I don't think this is something they can just patch out.
Several days later.
Yep.
It is so awkward to hit those function buttons, though. Okay. And this is running in Drastic Standalone,
Which is in RetroArch for some reason.
which is categorized under RetroArch. There is also Melon DS Core that you can get on here, but I
Don't
would
bother.
I wouldn't. Yeah, for performance reasons, I would leave it as is.
Yeah.
Only thing you're going to miss out on is retro achievements.
Mm-hmm. DS is going to work fine here. There probably won't be a single DS game that you can't run. The problem is going to be the interface. So since you don't have a touchscreen, yeah.
And favorite zombie retro game, Zombies Ate My Neighbors. Easy. That's it.
Slaughterhouse.
Fair. Slaughterhouse also, I believe, was at least game of the week before. And if you don't know what you're talking about, this game of the week, game of the month, game of the year stuff, well, guess what? If you join our Discord, you can get free merch points to earn merch from our merch store just by playing games.
Would Castlevania count as a zombie game?
I guess technically. It's running well, though. A little bit of slowdown here and there, but you could tweak it to taste.
It's probably because it's using like the high-end like 3D rendering thing.
Yeah. Yeah, so we have a Game of the Month club, and it's a lot of fun. Voted on by the community. Every month, you get 3 games to choose from. Every week, you get a game. And then once a year, we have a game of the year, which you can play anytime during the year. For people like me who really don't want time limits on their play times, a year is nice. All of that goes to earn you merch.
Mm-hmm.
Good
and
times.
You also get to play some fun games and argue with people.
Absolutely.
Which we all know, arguing about retro games is like 50% of the fun.
Dude, I just saw your top 10 highlights video you put out today on our channel. That was one eternity later. That made me laugh so much.
That was like a 2.5 hour long stream that I cut down to 35 minutes. I was up at like 4 a.m. finishing that.
It turned out really well. Thanks for doing that. That was...
You're welcome. So this question, we actually did see a phone version of a handheld with controllers. It just wasn't very popular. Do you remember what it was called? It looked like a PS Vita, and it didn't have
what are you saying?
So somebody's asking like why we haven't seen like a phone version of a handheld with like controllers, and it's been done. I can't remember what it was called though, but it came out around the same time as the GPD XP Plus. It was an all black handheld. It had like Vita sticks on it, but it was a phone. You could put like a SIM card on it. Same thing with the Odin Lite. You can put a SIM card on that one too. So technically, it's a phone with just some controllers on it.
It's just never a popular use case. I mean, the Aya Neo Pocket Air also has that slot available. It's not a bad thing to have, but I've never.
The Moki i7S, yeah.
the mochi. I never had that one. I don't know. It seemed like there were too many compromises. It was more phone than handheld, and I'd much prefer to have more handheld than phone.
Yeah, and that's true too. There's a lot of certifications
Razer Edge
through for
Razer Edge 5G.
Yeah, for phones. So it's not as easy as like, hey, look, this is a handheld that can be used as a phone. Like you have to get a whole lot of other things done to be able to do that. That's why the Portal didn't have 5G at the end of it. Originally, they were going to put like the tray where the SD card goes in. That was going to be using 5G, so you could put a SIM card in it. But then they realized like, hey, it's a lot more work than we thought, and they just kind of canceled it.
Ooh, having the sticks is nice in N64. We're getting full speed and perfect dark. That's ridiculous. Let's go get into it. Well, let's get into an area with enemies. I know this is the Training Institute, but okay. There we go.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, we're getting some slowdown. But still, it's like having that second stick, having any sticks at all, finally makes N64 playable on this edition of handhelds.
If you really want N64 and you want to keep it to the lowest budget possible, a T618 handheld's the way to go.
Yeah.
You're going to have to deal with Android, though. For me, not a problem, but I know a lot of people don't like Android.
It's true. So I think that kind of covers us. Pico 8. Somebody said maybe let's do a quick test of Celeste, which I think is a great idea. And we'll stop there. Dude, those Huskies are going to town.
Let me see if I can close the window. Give me a second.
No, it's all right. I mean, good luck to them. Congratulations to them. It sounds like they're having a great time.
Actually, no, the window is closed.
Dude, that's impressive. I have a Husky too. She gets loud sometimes. Doesn't ever sounds like that, but
how to join the giveaway? That's a great question. So you have to be subscribed to our channel.
Your mic cut out. You have to be subscribed to our channel, be subscribed to Anbernic's channel if you want to win one of the 35XX Plus units, and then watch the live stream. Unless you're a member of our YouTube membership subscription or Discord membership or Patreon memberships, then you're automatically entered. Otherwise, just subscribe to our channel, subscribe to Anbernic's channel. Watch our live stream on December 31st at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, and we will be celebrating our Game of the Year awards, Retro Game of the Year awards, and also doing the giveaway. So, yeah, that'll be fun times. People donated and sent us more handhelds than they ever have, so it'll be our biggest giveaway yet. Anbernic is also matching like they did last year, so they sent us a grip of 35XX Pluses to give away. So that'll be a lot of fun. Simple requirements. And I'll just ask for, you'll DM me because I'll be shipping everything out. And I'll ask for just proof of channel membership of some sort. For if it's one of the Anbernic units you won, subscribe to their channel. And then, just be part of the live stream. Beyond that, I'm going to save the final details until the live stream because I have surprises. Did I cover it, Aish? Mostly, more or less? Sorry, your mic cut out, so I took over talking for you. Love you, Aish. I think your mic's broken. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. If Dan were playing this, he'd be able to take this on, no problem. We got to jump, and then we got to jump up. Super jump. There we go. See?
How about now? Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. My microphone was going crazy. I was just saying, just to clarify, the reason that you have to subscribe to Anbernic's channel is because they donated a few devices for the live stream, and they asked that people subscribe to their YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed to them, you can still win handhelds. It's just it won't be one of those.
Yeah, it just won't be the Anbernic ones. We have Retroid. We have Retroid units. We have Miu units. We have a lot of handhelds to give away. More than I can even sort of
so it's just that
figure out.
If you subscribe to the Anbernic YouTube channel, you're going to be eligible for the Anbernic handhelds. That's the only thing.
And I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to bundle some together. So you're most likely people are going to be winning more than one thing. And I want to include some Stubbs Nubbs in the set as well. So you're going to get a whole bunch of fun stuff.
Yep.
And I'd recommend we're going to stop watching my poor Celeste skills and wrap up.
So yeah, just subscribe and be at the live stream, and that's it. And you're eligible to win. If you're a Patreon, you're eligible immediately, but you probably won't know if you don't watch the live stream. So watch the live stream.
There
you go.
Okay. What we got? SN30 H. I like it. It's pretty cool. You're a horizontal version of your younger brother, older brother. I think they're brothers.
You sound far away.
I am far away.
There you go. Now he's back.
Okay. You missed out. Oh no.
Could read the dictionary at that distance.
What do you guys think about this? If you're watching the video back on replay later, leave us a comment. Let us know, is this what you want to see from Anbernic? Is this really the ideal form factor for the 35XX line? To me, it is. Having the sticks as an option is awesome. This means, for me personally, I'm not going to be using the Plus as much. I think I'm just going to stick with this because I get these sticks and it's so damn pocketable. And, well, it fits the Stubbs Nubbs. So now it's a great test use case as I start to develop and advance that product. But that's just a personal thing. But lets me still cherish and not have to, get rid of my original 35XX. I'm going to have that for my vertical, and I'm going to have this for my horizontal budget. What's the price on this? We don't know yet. We'll add that to our description and our pinned comment as soon as we do. I'm sure we'll know by probably tomorrow. Yeah. Let's guess. First 48 hours, $64.99.
Yep. I agree with that. I think, well, how much is the regular 35XX Plus?
$63.99.
$63.99. So I'm going to say, because of the sticks, it's probably going to be $70 or $69 with that $5 off. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we need the price to hit right. That's the main thing. We need the software to get fully baked. I'm not going to count on the stock experience getting to that ultimate, like, this device is a no-brainer, pick it up. Garlic OS 2.0. I want to see that in beta. I want to see that in a more workable state, because that is what's going to take this device to the next level. I really like the joysticks on here. Not only having the option, but they're in an ideal spot for ergonomics for me. You have that classic, again, it's going to feel very similar to your RG351P or your 353M, which this is a very close form factor to. The D-pad makes it really Hadoukenable. Super easy to really play any game that's D-pad centered. Face buttons have a nice pivot and travel to them. They're glossy rubber membrane buttons. They're the same as the Plus. Shoulder buttons are no frills, non-stacked. No complaints other than they're not stacked, but they're not too loud. Like having the rubber backing there. It's nice to see that come back. It's super thin. The weight is 6.4 ounces. Super lightweight. Has Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, although as we saw, there needs to be some tweaks in the software, such as RetroArch, having it recognize the controller on Bluetooth right off the bat, we got to get that fixed in software. And Anbernic, we want to see that. 3,300 milliamp hour battery will last you a fair amount of time. Let's see. We are still at about 90% battery life, and I made sure this was fully charged before the stream. So in 2 hours, we've only dropped about 10%. We haven't been pushing it super hard the whole time, so this is sort of general casual use case. That's not bad at all. The screen is an IPS quality screen. It's not going to be OLED or anything, but I think it's a fairly decent IPS for the price. Looks just like the 35XX itself. Here's in the brightest setting, if you wanted to see. And then here it is on the lowest, which is how we had it for most of the stream. 640 by 480. It gets the job done. I like these candy bar style horizontals. They're just, this is one I can just, I mean, let's do a pocket test too. Yeah, that's going to be really pocketable. Love that. What I really don't love mostly is going to be related to the software. I think the hardware on this is well done through and through. Wi-Fi works, retro achievements work, Bluetooth works in some instances, not with headphones yet, which is kind of lame. I like the colorway option. The purple clear here is really nice. It's subtle, but it gets the job done. White transparent is another option. Black might be the best option since it's matte. Of course, transparent plastics are slightly lighter weight too. So if you want to go for the most lightweight, you could do that. We learned that with the Steam Deck, which was a wild discovery. And Aish, what are your thoughts? What are your final thoughts on this?
Before I get into my final thoughts, if you can't get into Discord for some reason, just go to the main page on your YouTube channel. The link should be there. Somebody's having some issues getting into the Discord.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I think the price point is going to be the deciding factor on this one. It's cool. You're getting Anbernic quality build, which I think is always great. Their D-pad and buttons feel awesome. So that's really good to see. Custom firmware, I'm not going to talk about Black Sarah's personal life, but it's being worked on. It's coming pretty soon. Just that's all I'm really going to say on that one. But we should see it in a couple weeks. And yeah, this looks like an interesting one. I'm more of a fan of vertical handhelds, but I know for a lot of people having the sticks is a big deal. So I'm excited to get my hands on it, and I'll have more to say on it once I actually get to play with it. My full review should be coming. It usually takes me about a week. I like to spend some time with the device and actually play it and get a good feel for it. But at most, it should be that long.
Yeah, if anyone has problems getting into the Discord, just let me know. I can always get you in. Yeah, I think those are good points. And sorry, my Google Home went off. My son was figuring out he could broadcast and started saying Google into it.
Nice.
It was playing full
Technology,
sound.
Man.
Yeah. So, I mean, do we recommend this now? We haven't done a review yet. We haven't done really our full first impressions. Right off this live stream, my initial thoughts on this is I recommend it absolutely in 3 months from now. Today, if you want to tinker and you want to have a pretty decent handheld for a good price, I do recommend it as well. But I think the software needs to bake a little bit more. So I think it's so close. I think the hardware is fantastic, and I know ultimately this is going to be one that lives on for years, and it's going to be another great handheld from Anbernic. It just needs a little software love. And
quick point on the software. We're comparing it to our experience using like Garlic OS and Onion OS and some other more developed operating systems. If you don't really have that point of reference, chances are you're going to be fine with the custom firmware
That's true.
That's in there. It's usual. There's really nothing wrong with the custom firmware. It's just we know it could be better based on our experience with it. So if you're worried about that because you keep hearing like, oh, we need custom firmware, this, and that, like software support is in there. If this is going to be your first retro handheld or you've only had a couple, you're going to be okay. Like, it works. All of the custom features are there. The HDMI out is there. The Bluetooth support looks like it needs to be fixed, but it is there. Hotkeys, all of that. It's all present. It's just we're waiting for it to be put in a better package. So I just wanted to make sure we made a note of that so people don't get scared off on it thinking I'm going to buy this and I can't even use it.
Oh no, it's gonna work right off the bat. Again, it's us who have used all these other handhelds and we're used to a certain software experience being at a certain threshold of quality to where we're like, we know it's going to be so great very shortly. But the hardware, and again, I think that's where the focus needs to be right now is, I mean, easily 9 out of 10 for me in all regards. I don't have anything negative to say about this on a physical level. It's not even getting warm, and we've been playing it now for what? Again, 2 hours.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna be a great Game Boy Advance handheld.
Yes,
everything like 8-bit, 16-bit is gonna be great on it. PS1 is gonna be awesome. You have all the red buttons and inputs,
and it's gonna be fun tinkering on N64. Now that you have these sticks, I think now it's going to be fun tinkering to get an ideal setting. That's where we maybe need a community spreadsheet or something to start figuring out what are the best settings for every N64 game, because I think this is a fantastic N64 machine now for the games that'll run okay. Many of the ones I tested ran full speed. That is a great sign. Not all of them, but many of them. Also for Dreamcast, you're going to have to tinker per game. Nintendo DS, you're going to be tinkering. PSP, you're tinkering. But the fact that we have these sticks really open up so much more options, especially having a second stick, so you can set some hotkeys to that if you want. So yeah, this is just... I will have time to appreciate this while I'm at CES with this man here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And for everybody saying that it's late, consider that recently we haven't had any releases of this form factor at this size.
Excuse me, we haven't had any releases of this form factor.
Of this form factor in this size with this power. Like we've had some other ones. We have the RK2333, but we already saw this is bigger than that. So that's a pretty small, thin handheld. For some people, that matters. For some people, they just want something very pocketable. That's what I was saying earlier. Not every handheld release is going to be for everybody. There's going to be a market for it. So let's wait and see how that turns out. That's all I was going to say.
Those are good thoughts. I like your thoughts. We want to know your thoughts, though. Again, let us know in the comments. Please do remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video and you enjoy our content. We are always keeping up with the onslaught of handhelds that come out on the market. We're there, day one, front lines, reporting to you, the viewer, what our thoughts are. What does it do? Is it good? Is it bad? Does band need to get more beans? I don't know. These are questions I can't answer, but I can answer like the first questions. Like all that stuff is good, just not the beans. We are here to do these things, and we're not going to stop. No way, no how. Special thanks to our subs and our patrons. You guys are awesome, and thank you for coming back to support us month after month. We really couldn't do this without you. If you're interested in our program, it is in our description. If you are interested in Stubbs Nubbs, those are on Etsy. I will also add them to the description. They are $4, okay? They will enhance your joysticks on any Nintendo Switch size, and now we're adding Steam Deck size in the next few weeks here, and Retroid sizes now, and AYN sizes. So get ready for that. It's gonna be nuts.
Thanks for hanging out, everyone. We always appreciate it. It seems like every stream we do, we get more people, and that's awesome.
Yeah, I know. I was like, what? Oh no.
Hey, how do I owe Zoo $37?
Zoo, get out of here. What are you doing here? What are you doing there, man? Zoo, everyone with his damn Modelo's.
Yeah.
Pickles. Not gonna let him on the streaming again. He can deal with it. Well, until the next one, everybody. This has been Stubbs on behalf of Aish, saying, what do we say? We take care of our handhelds, and we take care of each other. And take care of Aish.